Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. So we just got done doing our Belisarius video, and we did a video about Constantinople and the Eastern Roman Empire and everything by extension. But that brought up a topic that I wanted to talk about a little bit. That being Greek fire, the super weapon of the past, the weapon of mass destruction of the past. The nuke. That was the nuclear option, kinda. No, but it did hold off the barbarians for 500 years. It was a great innovation. So I think we want to talk about that a little bit and its implications. So the thing that comes up, I think, the most when we're talking about Greek fire is when it was used against the Arabs, like the Byzantines held off the the first siege, one of the first sieges of Constantinople. When they were going to get through, it was like 1,800 ships had surrounded the city, huge fleet, huge armada, and they send out the Byzantine fire ships, which we'll put a picture up if we can. They have like a funnel that comes out the front, and it's like a horn that goes back under the bow. There's like a siphon and a pump and a furnace, and some like oh no, it's not somebody blowing. Somebody's working the pumps. There's a furnace. We don't exactly know how it was made. And because it was so guardly, kept secret. Not only like nowadays, we don't know the exact recipe that was made for Greek fire. We do kind of know what it was made of, and we can recreate it, but nothing we can recreate is as perfect as what they describe in the books, which, who knows. But so the like original recipe to Greek fire was lost. And how was it lost, Jesse? Well, it was lost because it was very secret of a thing. Only two people that knew how to make it were the family of what's his name here, and Kalinikos. So the family of Kalinikos, the only like the guys in that line, like 4 or 5 of them were allowed to know it, and the emperor himself and his little retinue knew it. But other than that, nobody knew it, and it was actually punishable by death to even like if it was found out that this was taken, or even the parts of the ship or anything, that was immediate death, you and your whole family. So it's a very serious thing, and I mean, with what it was and how revolutionary it was, no wonder. So, uh, that's what we're gonna talk about. I mean, we're just gonna keep talking about it. So one of the things that so Greek fire, the story behind Greek fire is that it was personally brought down by an angel to give to Constantine himself. But obviously that probably didn't happen. Maybe it did happen, but we're gonna probably tend to believe that it was made by some guy who came up with the with the mixture wherever. And it is said that there's like a certain type of tar that came from somewhere in that area. It came out of the tar pits of that area, and once that tar pit ran out of tar, that's when they couldn't recreate it anymore. That's what they say. I don't know how true that is, but that's what they say. But for like 500 years that Greek fire held back the barbarians from, the barbarians were at the gate and send out the Greek fire. So it was very interesting and it's kind of like a weapon of mass destruction of the biblical of those times, not biblical times, but of those times, because it was such a such a crazy thing. And then and what kind of brought it out of fashion, as we know, like we talked about in our Constantinople video about Orban and his big ass cannon firepower. Firepower, gunpowder was made and discovered, and that kind of put the final nail in the coffin for Greek fire. And those are two very different things. Gunpowder and Greek fire were completely different. Greek fire was more like naphtha, like napalm. That, something that like once it gets on it, it's not going out, and it even burned on top of water. So they say famously that water wouldn't even put it out. So when they're going out and spraying everything, it's like nothing is putting these fires out. So it's kind of like napalm in that way. Very crazy, very very terrifying thing to like. And it was like it also made a very terrifying sound, like the sound of the siphon and pump pushing the fire out. It made like a roar sound that was like terrifying. So it had its own psychological thing also with it that made it that much more crazy. So and it was used Greek fire, they say Greek, but it was mainly used by the Byzantines to keep back the barbarians. As we talked about, yeah, the Anatolian heartland, where they would come over and try to take over Europe. And that was a big thing for a lot of the caliphates and the Muslim leaders. They wanted Christianity to be not existent, and they, in any way, and they did take over Spain, like I say, parts of Europe. Like, yeah, kind of. They got up into Spain and a little bit of France, but they didn't take over whole of Europe, which, well, nowadays they did. You take a look at it now. France has fallen. You had that. Can't even go to the Louvre. They just stole all the fucking everything out of there. Um, I mean, I don't know. Very, very sobering. All of these things that I'm talking about should be very sobering to somebody like I know we grew up in the United States in this great time of prosperity where we have no enemies and blah, 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 blah. But that's not how the world has functioned for thousands of years. And it's not how the world's going to continue to function. We have enemies and we need to realize what they are. And you need to be working every day at something. You need to be going for walks. You need to be doing something, making money. I don't know. But don't be like a fat, unfuckable chud loser. Like, do something to better yourself. If you can at least do one thing a day to better yourself, then in my book, it's better than nothing. But when you're just sitting there every day doing nothing, getting fatter, I mean, the world's just going to pass you by, man. And then maybe eventually one day an enemy's going to come knock on your door and take all your shit. And there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it. So we don't have Greek fire. We have our nukes and stuff, but everybody has nukes, except Iran. But I kind of like to tend to keep my opinions to myself. But maybe to pad this out a little bit, I should go into my dad was injured in Iraq in 2004, and I grew up as a consequence of the war on terror. I was a casualty in the war on terror. Not literally, but my father, what that had, it dropped a bomb on the family unit. That's for damn sure. Um, really ruined my life and took until like a year or two ago that I finally was able to put everything together and understand where he was coming from. And I love my dad. My dad is a hero. But these unnecessary foreign wars, like Iran attacked Beirut, bombing, I was very sad. I'm not taking anything away from that. But Iran has never had a terrorist attack on U.S. soil. They weren't building a bomb, and they damn sure weren't going to nuke the United States. And you can feel however you want. Yeah, the regime was bad and I guess whatever, but it wasn't our place to take them out. And now look where we're at. We're stuck there. Gas prices rising up. Like a lot of us can't even afford to eat. We shouldn't be doing regime change. We need to focus on what's going on here in our country first. So, but yeah, that's Greek fire. No, I mean it is. That's what we were talking about, and all of these things are interconnected, and they do matter, and they we are what we are discussing. So, if you, I mean, hopefully you're here for it. If not, see ya, bye. Because I'm not changing for anybody. It is what it is. You get what you get, and that's it. And that's Greek Fire, and this is Jesse on Mac and Bolt or Bolt and Mac. One of the two. I think we're in Bolton Mac. Not Mac and Bolt. I don't know. Whatever this YouTube channel is called. We're here for it. And we're doing more videos. So like and subscribe. And yeah, guys, have a good day. Have the day you deserve.